And welcome back to Golf Karting TV. My name is Matt, and I'm thrilled to have you back here today. Let's go ahead, not waste any time, and jump in to today's video. Cool. So we are here today with Matt Townsend from out in California. You can share a little bit more details about who you are, where you are, and we'll jump into this cart.
Like you said, Matt Townsend. I'm in Southern California, about an hour north of San Diego. Just building carts for fun and putting bags on them like I'm used to doing on cars and trucks. And it kind of turned into something a little bit more. And I found an audience that enjoys it and liked it. And so now I just kind of build what I want in my head. I have people ask me to build stuff for them locally, and for a hobby, I don't really want to do something that everybody else wants. I just kind of want to wake up with an idea and go my own way, and it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Well, you were recommended from a mutual friend, so we're excited to see what you got here today.
Yeah, absolutely. This is my version of trying to build a cart that's stylish like a vehicle and not so much like a golf cart. For carts that I build myself, I'm not a big fan of when people try to add things to a golf cart that clearly don't belong. So I try to kind of make the design wise, I try to make it to where it looks seamless. It looks like it belongs. I don't want to force it. I don't want to make it look, ridiculous in my opinion. So on this one, I found there's a guy, Jay Riggs, Baby Riggs out in, I think it was North Carolina. And I saw a 40's Ford front end. And I asked him, first thing for me for airbags, I asked him what the interior height was and what kind of rim can I tuck under it. And he emailed me back and he's like, you can get 19 inches under it. And I knew for sure it was going to be good for airbag, a good candidate for the airbag. So that's what started. It was just with the Ford body, I wanted to inspire to build something different, something that nobody's seen before. I mean, especially out here, I think golf karting is a lot on the East Coast than it is out here.
Yeah.
So there's definitely one of a kind out here, but yeah, just want to build something different. Just want to build something.
Cool.
I don't want to build the same thing twice. I usually don't.
Awesome, Matt. Well, let's dig into this thing a little bit deeper, and maybe we can start there on the front end. I know you talked about just kind of a custom body, so let's start there.
Yeah. So this is the Baby Riggs LLC 40's body. Basically, the only modifications that I had to do to it was going to be these headlights are out of a 74 to 78 Chevelle. They have the orange ring that lights up. I wasn't a big fan of that, so we tinted that. The mold didn't have any room for lights, so I did get the amber chicken lights. So you have the running lights here, running lights on the bottom that match. I wanted to do a patina style paint job on it, so I ended up going with the army green base, satin clear, but just down the YouTube wormhole, kind of figured out how to make patina, how to sand it down and all that fun stuff. Yeah, the front end's what started. The whole cart was done and bagged, and I had to wait for this front end to come from North Carolina just to kind of start the build.
That's awesome. I think just one of the things that stood out to me certainly was that patina color of it. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to put a whole lot of money in them. I've made that mistake a few times, and so it's hard to make spray paint look good. So the patina was definitely a good, cool factor. The second thing most notably was on the rocker panels. I have a guy here in town with a 10-foot brake, so we did 14 gauge rocker panels just to kind of clean everything up, make it look a little more seamless. So I did cut and stretch it. I stretched it actually 103 inches over. So it gives you we have about 8 inches more legroom in the rear. And then in the front, you get about 6 more inches of legroom. So it's a standard aftermarket TXT dash, just the carbon fiber look-alike. Kept it simple, didn't go super crazy with it, just did super simple air gauges in it. Got the battery meter, forward reverse switch. On this side, we do have I put reverse lights, parking lights. From there, it has the custom pod that I built just for the bigger TXT seat to be accommodated. We did get the 12-inch 12-inch Rockville bass tube that has its own amplifier on board as well. Limited on airspace. These tubes put out a bunch of bass. So they actually pair really well with a sound bar. For audio,
got the sound bar there in the back.
Yeah, for audio, we got the sound bar in the back, and they pair super easy. Where I was able to run all the cables inside the factory housing. So there's no cables running down, nothing weird, nothing ugly getting stuck.
Nice.
We can come down.
So tell me what's running the cart. What do you have up kind of under the hood, if you will?
Yeah. So it is an EZGO TXT. The reason it actually has club car rear end, club car heart controller. The golf cart's modified, makes a 39,000 harness that bypasses the factory OBC, so it's super simple. About 8 wires gets the cart running. 500 amp controller. The reason I did that is it's built to tow, so it needs the torque, it needs the speed. Not the fastest cart in the world, but it gets the job done pulling wise.
And you mentioned towing, so explain to me a little bit about what you have set up there on the back.
So it's your standard gooseneck 2 5/8 ball. It has full 1/4 inch triangulated braces between the frame rails, much like you'd have on your 1-ton trucks for pulling. It looks like it's floating on the wood, which is actually my intended design, but underneath the wood, it's completely plated out. It could with the Firestone 3500 bags, you could probably tow about 1,200, 1,500 pounds a ton. In my opinion, I think the first thing that goes is going to be your tires on a golf cart.
Yeah.
But everything else can definitely handle it.
And what are you towing behind that?
It is a 6-seater trailer. It's actually an old cart that I stretched. Sold to someone. They wrecked it down a hill, so I got it back from them, cut the whole front end off of it, and just built a trailer out of it.
That's awesome. And the look of it is just, I mean, it definitely gives that whole kind of old school truck look with the wood, and all that just flows so good together.
Yeah, the fleet side is definitely a perk of these older Western carts, especially with the mechanical look of the shocks and the wood grain is kind of the look I was going for. Not really rat rod by any stretch, but just everything works efficiently. The whole cart with the shocks and everything else, it runs so well. Drives quality. I mean, I could ride this thing about a 1/2 inch from here, and it'll handle better than any factory cart I've ever driven. No loss of steering, no weird bump steer, nothing like that. This is the 5th cart that I've done like this, and I've really figured out a lot of the quirks of geometry with golf carts. As aside from a vehicle, it's a lot different. So this one I was really focused on riding it low, but not losing the creature comforts of ride quality, steering quality, stuff like that.
Awesome. Can you explain for me and for those who don't understand how the whole air ride suspension stuff works, that you've got those things popping out of the rear there? Can you explain that for us a little bit?
Yeah, so basically golf carts have limited range underneath. I have 5 gallons of air under here. I have a compressor on either end. You have a motor that is usually people would understand is sitting vertically in these. When I narrow the axles, I take 8 inches out of the front and rear to get the tires to tuck inside the body. So you really have, you have an 8-inch wide tire that I have about an inch of clearance in here, so I can drive it low. So I ran out of room, and you have to have shocks on an airbag golf cart. I see a lot of people try to run traditional airbags with no shocks. They're, in my opinion, undrivable. They're super loose. So the only way to get a full-size shock that has all the lift, has all the qualities, is a 98 to 04 Isuzu Rodeo shock. So you have a 12-inch bar here that connects straight down to the axle. So as the axle cycles from its laid out point here, as it cycles up the 12 inches, the shock will push dead forward from here, extending out this way, which spins this down and allows the axle to run vertical as the shock runs horizontal. So it's
Gotcha.
It's a fabrication thing, a flex thing. I mean, it's pretty, not the most difficult in the world thing to do, but I figured I'd put on a golf cart just for the heck of it. But it worked out really well, man. Like I said, the ride quality on here won't spill your drink, doesn't bounce anybody out of the cart.
Nice, and it looks cool too. I think that it does flow with the whole look of it for sure.
Yeah, very mechanical.
Yeah, very cool. And then tell me about those the wheels and tires you've got up under there.
These are the 12-inch SS Godfathers. I'm not entirely sure who makes them. I just saw the look, and it's your typical resto mod wheel. So with the 40 style front end, this is the typical wheel you'd see at a car show, something like that. And like I said, I want to keep the flow of the vehicle styling with the body of the truck, and these rims, in my opinion, they match perfect. It's definitely period correct as far as a resto mod for this type of golf cart
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So
like, I think just like muscle car kind of look for sure.
absolutely, yeah, that's really what I'm going for when I try to build a cart. Is I don't want to force it. I don't want to slap something on a golf cart that isn't. It's not going to flow correctly. So I definitely want to keep some things traditional.
Yeah, very cool. Can you show me that windshield that's up on the front? It looks like so it like wraps around. Is that standard on that Western model, or is that something different that you did?
Yeah. So this is a standard. I don't know the years on them, but this came on the cart. This cart was one of those Lee duckling westerns that has the sunken in headlights and it's all rectangled off, very 80s. But the windshield just stuck. It's very sand car looking to me. For the desert people that understand that, it works good. It has the four threaded bungs in it, so when it gets too hot or too cold, you can put it on, take it off as needed. But definitely does it works. So this was the big thing for me, from a fabrication standpoint, a limited room to be able to get, like I said, it's a full 11 inches of lift out of the rear, 8.5 out of the front. But the big thing is for me is the wheels are centered. That's one thing that not a lot of
Yeah.
people notice, but to have that kind of articulation just to keep the geometry so it looks correct. But with this much lift, I can get in and out of any toy hauler, any ramp. And when you're driving it around at this height, which I don't do often, it's very unsuspecting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And then just how then those shocks and compressors work then when it's up like that as well. It shows you just how well that suspension
Yep.
works when you
Yeah.
push on
So
it like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's the full articulation. So they run full forward, and then as you're driving, not sure if it's fully aired up, but you can actually tell when it gets weight put on it the way they function.
Yeah. Very cool.
So it's definitely just a better ride quality in that respect.
Yeah. Awesome, Matt. Well, thank you so much. You've built an amazing cart. Appreciate you sharing it with us for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys featuring it and recognizing it, and hopefully it motivates somebody else to do something better. We can all kind of chase each other, seeing who can bigger, badder, faster, and lower.
For sure. Very cool. Thanks again.
Absolutely, thank you.
That thing is so cool. It gives a little bit of Mater vibes, but also much more clean and much more intentional, stuff like that. Hope you love that as much as I did, and I hope you'll be back. We have a new episode every single Wednesday at noon. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you back here next week.